Good morning, David Kauffman with Kauffman Insurance Agency. Welcome to the Business Spotlight with Action Coach Business Coaching.
Good morning, Lee. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for joining us today.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. I think that there are a lot of questions that can be answered about insurance. We don't have a lot of time today, but I think the questions that I'm about to ask you are going to be insightful to our listeners and to people who read the interview. So
Good.
I'm excited to do that. So let me ask you, what do you do and for how long?
Okay, well, I am an insurance agent or an insurance broker. I'm independent now. I started my career quite a while back, about 32 years ago, with a captive agency with Allstate. And I sold that about a year ago. And with that, I became independent. So I have an opportunity to work with a number of companies instead of just one. So
nice. I know both have their advantages, captive and or being a broker, but you know the best of both worlds, so you're in a good position, right, to help.
Right, and again, there's being a captive agent was a great thing for me. There's a lot of good companies out there. It was just the kind of the stage of my career and kind of what I wanted to do that it made it really nice for me to become independent at this point.
Good, and I imagine you've had some learning opportunities.
Yeah, if you think about what we do with an insurance agency, it's sales and service. And it's one thing to deal with one company because you get to know their guidelines, you get to know their appetite for new business, what they want, what they allow. Then you take that times a number of companies, probably work with 5 to 10 companies really regularly, but they're literally 50 to 100 companies you can work with here and there. And so It's just a lot more to learn.
Yeah, well, that'll keep you young. So based on the business that you're in and the products that you have, who is your best customer? I guess maybe who's your best customer and your target customer?
Yeah. Well, again, in my experience, most of what I've done is personal insurance. So my ideal customer would be a family. If you have multiple vehicles in a home, that's ideal. Really, what you want, though, is someone who loves their family and cares about making sure they're taken care of. There has to be that desire for the customer to take care of their own family, and then we can help them with that. Of course, we also love to sell life insurance and business insurance, and that's been a new experience for me that I've really enjoyed to branch out from where I was, and it's exciting. Yeah, but my ideal customer would probably be a family with 2 or more cars in a home.
Okay, that sounds good. Well, I know you've helped me in my business with my insurance needs, and I think sometimes we need to be educated as business owners about the risk we have if we're underinsured. You're so busy marketing your product and hiring people and doing all that sometimes, insurance may be an afterthought. Is that have you noticed that in your experience so far?
For sure, and I understand. When I was a little boy, I wanted to be a football player, not an insurance agent. I think insurance is something that is needed, but it's not something everyone likes to think about or spend a lot of time on. So what I try to do with customers, or when I'm dealing with a prospect or someone that I'm talking to, is not to sell. Nobody wants to be sold. I don't want to.
No.
I don't want to knock on your door and kind of force what I have on you. What I do like to do is let you know what's available. Here are some options for you. Here are some pros and cons if you choose these things. There's price differences. You kind of get what you pay for, but you can choose some different things. But there is some education that goes on there too, because most people don't want to spend a lot of time on it. They may make a wrong choice when they, for $1 or 2 more, they could have had a lot more coverage and things like that. So I feel like, 30 years ago when the World Wide Web was new, they said that insurance agents, as well as a lot of other businesses, would no longer be in business. And that's not the case. There are certainly a lot of people who buy insurance online or from an 800 number, but I still think there's value in an agency for a lot of people.
I do too. And I also think about on the business side of things, the bigger your business grows, the more insurance educated you need to be. So there's errors and omissions for certain industries, and there's the liability insurance just from having your own place of business, even if you lease that. And let's see, what was that insurance that I bought from you recently? What was that called?
That was a bond.
A bond, yeah. So a surety
did,
bond, yeah. So all those kinds of things that can happen through your agency that support the business and could support the family at the same time. So
yeah, you bet.
And I think that's really good for people to know. So you've been in this business and you transitioned from the other. Did COVID have an impact on how you do business today?
Well, when COVID first started, I was still with the former agency and had 3 or 4 employees. And within a week, we transitioned from working in the office to everyone working from home. Some of us had to come in and carry, if they didn't have a laptop, they came in and carried their desktop home. But we transitioned pretty quickly, and it actually went very smoothly. We did pretty well through COVID. One thing about insurance is that it's either mandated by law to have auto insurance, or your mortgage lender is certainly interested in you keeping your home insurance. So we were able to certainly maintain our customer base and develop a lot of new customers during COVID. But like everybody else, I think we're really glad to be back to in the office.
Yeah, me too. Here. I actually came to my office and worked and then did it on Zoom. But that way I could be in my office environment, even though it was quiet and lonely in some ways. It had the structure of the office, but I can now work very easily in both. I think that was one of the benefits of COVID.
I think that's kind of where I am too with the new agency, in that what I was desiring was to be able to have flexibility. And so I can easily work from home. And there are some days I like to do that, but I really like to be in the office. It just makes me feel more professional, like I'm getting more done. And
me too. Yeah, I think I agree. So you've been in business a long time, and now I would say, I mean, you were a business owner as you had the captive insurance agency, of course. And I think you've even plunged into more business ownership. What's been your biggest learning since you've been a business owner?
I think I've been very blessed, number one, and I think it comes down to just perseverance. And I know if you're going to have good days and bad days in business. And quite honestly, you have to, in my business, and I think in your business, you have to hold yourself accountable. There's no one telling you that you have to do something. You've got to make things happen. So I think if I come in and work hard every day, if I treat people with honesty and respect and do what I know I need to do, it's going to take care of itself. It all works out in time. So I just have to have faith that if I come in and work hard, and I've done it. What was exciting is I grew my first business literally from scratch, from zero to a really nice size agency. And so I don't need to grow this next business that big, but I'm excited to develop whatever I can and just kind of enjoy life a little bit more here.
Good. I think I can't remember which amazing person said this, but the way we do the little things is the way we do most of things. And so I know you personally, so I know your business is being run like you run your personal life, which is really the kind of person I'm looking forward to do business with. And I think that says a lot. You just are the same person all the time.
Yeah, I think there's real value in that, because nobody wants to work with someone insurance is about trust. It's about making sure you don't have any surprises, making sure that you trust the company and that representative and that kind of thing. And when it comes to friendships or anything else, I want to be with somebody who's real, just like you. And so I think there's certainly a lot of correlations between business, and I don't think you can run your business and personal life differently. I totally agree with what you just said.
Yeah, me too. Well, one of the things we're doing with this spotlight is we're trying to, basically what we're doing is giving business owners a chance to tell their story and to be heard in a couple of different ways. First, we'll do a video, and I'll get that over to you. But we also have a newsletter that will go out to my database, and you can send it out to your database as well. Are there any offers that you would like to include in that newsletter from your business?
Well, I legally cannot do an offer such as, 10% off,
Right.
the next policy, you're
Yeah.
right. But I wish I could. But I would just say that I love to meet new people and get to know them and find out what their situation is and help them. So if anyone is interested in a conversation about your personal insurance, life insurance, business, I would love to meet new people and to help them in that way.
If someone had a policy they wanted your advice on, or a complimentary assessment of, could you do that?
Yeah, I really like to do that. I recently met with I haven't met him in person yet. That's interesting. We talked about COVID, but we've, so much of what we do now is online, by the phone or whatever. But met with a young person, and he and his wife literally had a 5% deductible on their home. Well, in that case, it was a $25,000 deductible, and he literally had no idea that his deductible was that high. And he had a $100,000 liability. So it's a long story, but for small changes in the policy, he can get just a much better policy for a small difference in price, or maybe a savings. So I love to do that with people and help them understand what they're getting.
I love that. And I feel like that's what people really need because they do know they need insurance. They just need to have the right coverage with the right company and the person that's going to support them, which is what you do. So I love that. So the insurance industry, I have to ask you, what do you feel like is the most inspiring thing about your industry?
Well, again, I think insurance is funny because it's one of those industries that people kind of love to dislike. Nobody likes to pay that premium. But if you think about what insurance really does, it gets people back to where they were before. And in a lot of cases, people literally, could not get themselves back there. I mean, if you have a home that's ravaged by fire or a tornado, insurance is a miracle. It's a great thing.
Right.
And the same with car or life insurance. I mean, it's such a value to our society. So I really like what it does for people and how we can help them to make sure that they can resume their lives. So it sounds kind of corny, but I really do it like that.
I love that. Well, it's the best way for people to find you. So this newsletter may go out past the Kansas area. So just so you know that, but what's the best way for people to find you? Your website, your phone number, and your email.
Okay. So our website is kauffmaninsuranceagency.com, and my last name is spelled Kauffman. So kauffmaninsuranceagency.com.
Okay.
Our email is kauffmaninsurance@gmail.com. And the phone number is 316-617-2420.
Perfect. That's great. So we'll make sure we have that on there. And also, you're on LinkedIn, so you can people can reach out to you on LinkedIn, find out a little bit about you. And I sometimes think that that's a good first connection, especially when you're meeting someone who you're going to divulge a lot of information to. So
right. Absolutely.
I think that's great. Well, I think this was helpful, David, and I really appreciate the opportunity to interview you for the business spotlight for Action Coach. And we're doing these newsletters and these videos all over the world, actually. And it's pretty exciting to be a part of it. And I'm excited for, this newsletter and this video will live on forever. And so you never know who might find the answers that you shared with us today and could help them with something. So we appreciate you being a part of that.
Well, I appreciate you inviting me, and this was a great opportunity for me, and I always enjoy talking to you. Thank you.
Thank you, David.